Happy Spookies, everybody. I hope you're all doing well, having a most excellent day. And today we're briefly going to talk about a brand new found footage movie called Ghost of Hiroshima.
Hey Vid fam, welcome to episode 34. I am your humble host, Eric Kage. Now on Tuesday, I learned that my great uncle left me a property in his will, which is wild because I never even met him and he lived in Japan. But with this life-altering situation, obviously, I gotta fly to Asia to check out this property. And I will be documenting my trip and giving you a full camera review.
And directed by Brandon Walker, as well as edited by Thomas Burke, who is a good buddy of mine. He actually sent me a screener of this. He's also a found footage movie maker. He does short videos, things like that. I'll go ahead and leave a link to his channel. He has a really neat found footage movie called Camping Fun. Highly recommend checking it out. So the movie stars Robert Palmer Watkins as Eric. We have Ashley Park as Nori. We have Max Bishop as Yoshio. And then we have Akihiro Kitamura. And last we have Akihiro Kitamura. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read a quick description of the IMDb synopsis, and then I'm going to go ahead and break it down into my personal synopsis. If I have any huge spoilers, I will leave towards the end. I'm also going to try to make this quick. 77 years after the bombing of Hiroshima, a malevolent force lingers at the site of the nuclear calamity. Those who encounter this vengeful spirit are forever consumed by its wrath. Such a vague little description, but it actually has a lot to do with what's going on. So the story follows Eric Kage. He is a video vlogger, and he does reviews for video cameras of that sort on his channel. At the very beginning of the movie, he gets a little personal, and he tells us about his life, his, and the things in the past, how he just struggled with depression. He was drinking a lot. He had no aim in his life. He actually inherits a house from an estranged uncle living out in Hiroshima one day. So he makes a vlog about it, and he's gonna take a trip out there on a whim. Just go ahead and just say, hey, I got a random house, let's fucking do it. So once he arrives, he does a little filming, and he eventually meets the estate rep who is doing the paperwork for the house. The estate rep informs them there's an old custom where the uncle insisted that they follow this custom. He has to occupy the house for 24 hours before he can claim it on his own. From here, you can kind of tell where it's going, what happens when somebody stays in a creepy, spooky old house. Let's get into some of the things that I liked. I really enjoyed the setting. I believe it took place in Japan, Hiroshima. I mean, that'd be kind of some BS, to be honest. It was set in Hiroshima, but it's not really filmed there. But I believe it's set in actual Hiroshima. So it was beautiful just to see the scenery and stuff like that. The little village that this guy is staying in. The house itself is kind of neat. Just to see like the different structures of how like different countries and stuff like that build their house was very neat. I think the kitchen is outside, which I was even telling my girlfriend when we were watching. I'm like, damn, what if it's like there's like a fucking storm and you're out there trying to wash dishes? I thought the story in itself was neat. You have this vlogger, he inherits a house, and of course as the night goes on and he's staying at this house, a mystery starts to unravel. Things start to come out about his uncle, who his uncle was, who I will say his uncle does make an appearance or two in the movie and is by far the best part in the movie. Honestly, there's a few like good scares, especially one near the end where like something comes out of something, just out of nowhere, something like pops out. I thought that was very well done. But the best part of this movie is where it cuts from the POV angle of Eric and to this interview segment. And we find out the uncle's story of his surviving the Hiroshima blast, his mother and stuff. I thought that was portrayed very well. Honestly, by far the best part in the entire movie was this. This movie starts off very solid. It builds up this sort of like foundation of something's gonna happen, but as going into my dislikes, it's just kind of falls short in the execution. That doesn't mean it's not worth a watch, in my opinion. I've seen a lot worse found footage movies than this. Like, I will say, like, I don't want to bash on the acting because I know for fucking sure I can't act, but it just didn't feel natural, if that makes sense for a found footage movie. There are a lot of times where the dialogue just didn't, like I said, just didn't flow naturally. When Eric meets the estate rep, for instance, it just feels very forced, almost monotone from the estate rep, and I hate to be like that, but it's just my nitpicking. That being said, there are other scenes where I did enjoy the acting. Like there's a picnic scene, for instance, where they're sharing drinks, and I just felt like that was one of the more natural times in the movie. Movie flows very well too. It's from beginning to end. It has a very nice pace. It's very short. I think like an hour and 20. I love that in a found footage movie. They also go into this lore about these Kodama. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Kodama, Kodama spirits, the things that live in trees. Y'all ever seen the anime movie Princess Mononoke? Or I don't know if I said that right, but sorry, don't come at me. But I think they use those fucking spirits in there, and they kind of do a little twist on that. It's mainly one malevolent spirit, like the synopsis says, but I really enjoyed that. Just wish they kind of expanded more on that. They just give us a brief little thing in the interview segments about the spirit in itself. I think my biggest gripe with the movie was probably the last like 5 or so minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know. It's hard sometimes with found footage movies to really execute them well, and I feel like this one was solid. It kind of fell flat at the very end. It's still worth a watch, in my opinion. Like I said, the setting is nice. If you're into found footage movies, you definitely need to check this out, in my opinion. There are a few good creepy scenes in the movie, especially involving the neighborhood kid with this mask. Fuck that mask. If you watch this movie, fuck that mask. That mask is creepy as fuck, especially on a little kid. All right, I believe you can rent this right now on Amazon. I'll go ahead and look for a link and leave it down there below. I'm going to go ahead and get into some minor spoilers just in case you want to watch it. Stop here. I'm telling y'all, the best part of this movie is the interview segments with this Hiroshima survivor. I forgot the uncle's name, but he was played by the Akihiro Kitamura guy. Man, first of all, dude, you did an excellent job. The story this guy tells about the morning of the blast is fucking chilling, dude. Everything this guy is describing about his mother. See, he talks about when he's seeing a person, he's not even entirely sure if it's a man or a woman because everything is just so burnt off. Their skin, it's like melted, it's black, but they're like walking on just bones. Like they have no feet. They're literally just walking on their bones, and there's like a baby dangling. And honestly, this part right here, why I feel like it's the best part, because it's something that really happened. You know, it's shit, dude. Hiroshima and Nagasaki were just some fucked up shit, and I don't want to get too much into that, but just thinking of just the aftermath, all the radiation, shit like that, people just being blinded, and that's not even the worst part of it all. Goddamn phone! I mean, he goes into great detail about what happened to him that day, his experience, the stuff with his house. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Twice! Anyways, where were we, dude? I completely forgot my thought. What's interesting is the way we find this interview. And he is presented the house. He's like, oh, what's up there? And the estate rep is like, oh, most likely an attic or a loft. We don't have the key. Also, she's being very shady. There's surveillance cameras all over the house. You find out later on why, because he's being monitored by the estate rep's boss, just to make sure that he stays at the house for 24 hours. It's odd, I don't know. But he eventually gets into the attic, and this is where we find the interview segment. But what's interesting is we also find a couple of letters, and in the letters, one of them talks about the interview segment saying, hey, this is the TV show, you know, for 25 years after the bomb drop documentary. Unfortunately, Uncle Guy, we're not going to be able to use your interview because of just the unexplained phenomena that you talk about in your interview, which is kind of interesting. So when the blast goes off, he talks about he is lifted into the air, and like all this like unexplained stuff starts happening to him. This is where he gets into the Kodama stuff. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. He talks about these spirits that live out in the forest, and when the bomb dropped, you know, everything burned. Mainly just one spirit, a Kodama spirit. So it lived out in there in the forest, and when the bomb dropped, everything fucking burned, including the forest. And this spirit was attracted to all the pain and suffering, and it kind of brought upon a curse to the land. And I really wish they expanded on that a little bit more, but what we get in the end is just, I don't know. It's just a fault. I don't know how to explain it. Like I said, it's one of those that's just so solid. It has a lot of great ideas. Ultimately, it does fall flat in the execution, but it's still worth the watch, in my opinion. If you watch it and hate it, then come yell at me, because somebody made this movie and they don't deserve any of the fucking hate or shitty reviews that I've seen for this, the 1 stars or whatever. Like, I don't know, dude. I've seen so many worse found footage movies. Y'all ever see Alien Surveillance? Fuck, dude. And I stand, in my house, we stand for Polonia, okay? But goddamn, Alien Surveillance is probably one of the worst, if not worst, found footage movies I've ever seen. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and shut up. I hope you all have a great day. It's fucking like 1 minute or so. So I gotta start working. It's 10 o'clock. Oh fuck. Happy Spookies. And really quick, I want to give a huge shout out to moviepalette.com for going over and sending me this fucking awesome movie palette of The Thing. How do I know it's The Thing? Well, because I chose it, but it also says it right there. Look at this beauty. Now, what's amazing about this is each color has been chosen by each one of their team members specifically to represent a frame from the movie. That's right, every strip you see here has been chosen in chronological order to represent a scene from the movie in its entirety. So technically I have the whole movie in one freaking palette. How amazing is that? Also, you know what's really cool? They also gave me a code to share with all of you to get 15% off your order. So go ahead and use Freddy15 when you order to get 15% off. How freaking awesome is that? I just think this is absolutely beautiful. It makes a great gift if you're somebody that's into sort of collecting these type of things, of movie posters. Also, it makes an awesome gift for a significant other. They also have a variety of movies from Star Wars to Coraline. So go ahead and check them out. Again, use the code Freddy15 for 15% off.